So to recap, UFC 263 headlined by Adesanya Vettori and co-main event Brandon Moreno, Deiveson Figueiredo, and obviously Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards on the card. That was in Glendale, Arizona. It sold out. Apparently broke a whole bunch of records in the Arizona stadium they filled. About 18,000 people or something like that, 17,000 people. But anyway, just to get started on the fights, man, Nate Diaz and Leon Edwards, that was the middle fight on the card. Third fight on the card, third to last fight on the card. But that was also one of the more anticipated fights on the card as well. Obviously, Nate Diaz, a very popular name in the sport. A lot of people looking forward to his fight, and man, did it not disappoint at all. It was very, very fun to watch. The antics were very real. He's turning his back to Leon and whatnot, and obviously, lots of hand gestures. Leon goes for a fist bump and Nate flips him off and slaps his hand away and punches him. It's just fun to watch, you know what I mean? But, ultimately Leon, over the course of 5 rounds, or really more 4.5 rounds, controlled the fight. But man, in that fifth round, of course, Nate Diaz had probably the biggest moment of the fight, nearly knocking out Leon Edwards. I mean, there was a window there. I mean, Nate landed a big left hand that absolutely snapped the head back of Leon, and he was absolutely wobbled. You could see the look in Leon's eyes, but Nate hesitated to hit him for probably another 5+ seconds. If he would have hit him within those first 5 seconds of after hitting that left hand, I think Leon would have went down. But Leon was able to recover in that time because Nate did. There was still 45 or 50 seconds left in the fight, and Nate hit him a lot more after that, and Leon was able to survive. It was still, if there was a whole another minute in the fight, Nate might have been able to get a TKO or something. But I think if Nate would have hit him once or twice after landing the big left hand, he possibly could have finished the fight there. And, he still could have finished the fight, but he allowed Leon to get back on his feet to the point where he could just at least survive. So that's what Leon was doing. He just survived until the bell, and he won all the other 4 rounds pretty clearly. You know what I mean? So, ultimately, great win for Leon, but also great outing for Nate. I mean, the lasting image we're going to remember from that fight is Nate almost knocking out Leon, who's the number 3 guy in the world, and if he did that, he'd be fighting Usman next for sure. For sure. So, ultimately, I do think Leon should be next for Usman. I think it will be, they'll end up doing Colby. But I think it should be Leon, 9 fights unbeaten, even though he got almost knocked out in the end of that fight, which causes some controversy in the win. He still is on a 9-fight win streak, 10-fight unbeaten streak. It's hard not to give a guy like that a title shot. I mean, how many does he have to win? You know what I mean? But, yeah, and also, he has fought the champ, but, man, he hasn't fought him recently. It'd be some fresh parity, but of course, a lot of people think Colby can pose some issues to Usman, but we'll see, Ultimately, I think Leon should be next, but man, Nate looked good in there. But yeah, Leon in the first 4 rounds looked great. I mean, he was landing good left hand. He landed one very nice left hand that didn't wobble Nate on his legs weren't wobbly, but it did send him going. He had to take a couple steps in the back. This left hand he landed sent him in that direction. You know what I mean? So Leon had some good moments. He had some nice body kicks, some nice low kicks. He had one low kick that particularly buckled Nate's leg. I mean, pretty badly. He was really lighting that leg up all night. And, Leon was really mixing it up with the grappling work. There was also one instance where Nate actually attacked for a leg, but Leon was able to slip out. So Leon, I thought, really showed that he was probably the better grappler. He did a lot better in the clinch, all that. But Nate was swinging with heat, and he was swinging with intention, and one of those landed, and it caused a big moment in the fight. But Leon was able to persevere. Yeah, and he showed that he's capable of going all 5 rounds, for sure. So just to move on to the next fight, Brandon Moreno and Deiveson Figueiredo. I mean, the first fight, obviously fight of the year contender, tremendous fight. And this fight, man, Brandon Moreno just comes out and dominates. I mean, very impressive stuff. He comes out from the beginning and just clearly has the advantage on the feet. Figueiredo obviously still lands a couple of shots here and there, but it was mostly all Moreno. Moreno dropped him with a nice quick jab that kind of caught him off guard. Ends up dropping him and going on top, but Figueiredo has very good jiu-jitsu. I believe the fight was just ended up getting scrambled up to a standing point from there, but ultimately Moreno just proved superior in mostly every category, you know what I mean? Took him down, took his back, went straight to the body triangle, locked up the rear naked choke. I mean, just beautiful stuff. What a impressive way to win the championship. You know what I mean? Mexico's first UFC champion, flyweight champion as well. Very impressive stuff. And he earned it. He looked very impressive in there. And he's definitely one of the pound for pound best fighters in the world, definitely in the top 10 pound for pound best fighters in the world. For Figueiredo, I don't know I think, and this is no excuse, but I think maybe he might cut a lot of weight. He looked a little fatigued in there. Not fatigued, but he just looked slow. He looked, I don't know. But, Moreno just looked much better in every aspect. And, props to Moreno. It was a very impressive performance. What's next for him? I mean, Askar Askarov has been doing very well lately. I think he mentioned that in a post-fight press conference as well. Post-fight press conference. And I believe also Cody Garbrandt might want to move down to 125, but he just lost to Rob Font. He's lost 3 of his last 4 fights. I don't know if that warrants a title shot at any weight class, regardless of it being his first fight in that weight or not. So yeah, I think Askar Askarov would be a good fight, or possibly even a Figueiredo rematch, but ultimately I think Moreno dominated this fight in such a fashion that Figueiredo probably doesn't need a rematch at this juncture quite yet. Maybe get another win or 2 first, and then we'll be talking about a trilogy. But yeah, I don't know. Ultimately, just a great performance from Moreno, and yeah, very impressive stuff. And then the main event, Israel Adesanya versus Marvin Vettori. Adesanya just kind of dominated top to bottom. I mean, and this is how a lot of people thought it might have gone. But a lot of people thought, okay, if Vettori can take him down, maybe he can hold him down. No, Adesanya right back up. I don't know if Vettori landed any ground and pound. If he did, it wasn't very significant at all. Ultimately, Adesanya just dominated this fight top to bottom. Wasn't able to finish him. There were a few moments in the striking where he landed a few nice combinations, but ultimately never hurt him very badly, never dropped him, never knocked him out or anything, obviously. But clearly was the superior striker, superior everywhere, once Marvin got him down, and Marvin did get him down a few times. There was a perfectly timed single leg off of a leg kick. Like, he grabbed one leg that Adesanya was throwing a leg kick, took him straight down, perfectly timed. And there was a couple times, where he'd get a body lock against the cage and get him down. But really, there was a lot of times where he would get a body lock against the cage and just, hang on to it, and Adesanya would just elbow him in the head a little bit and break the grip and, back to normal. So, yeah, ultimately Adesanya showed that he was able to get the fight back to his realm, no matter, when it was taken down or clinched against the cage. He was able to escape that position and get back to his striking. And obviously his striking was far superior. I mean, landing some nice lead hand, like shuffle jab style shots, a lot of those, lots and lots of leg kicks. Yeah, he also landed a leg kick that dropped Marvin and a couple just nasty hard ones, but he also was throwing them light with volume. He was just touching up that leg all night, you know. And he was throwing lots of head kicks, throwing lots of nice question marks and all that, but none of them really landed with any authority. Marvin mostly able to block most of those. But yeah, on the feet, I don't think Marvin had very much success throughout this fight. He might have landed a couple of shots, but also none very significant. Adesanya was never hurt in this fight, never really in any danger. And he pretty much controlled the fight from beginning to end. And, after the first round, you got the sense that, Marvin may not have much of a chance in this one, And, yeah, for Adesanya, clearly Whitaker is next. Whitaker should have been next already, but I get he wants to be active, and that makes sense. And at least he's still giving Whitaker the shot, So it works out for everybody. So yeah, Robert Whitaker I think will be much more challenging for Adesanya. No disrespect to Marvin Vettori, obviously very very tough guy. Adesanya was not able to finish him, and not able to. I mean, there was no 10-8 rounds. You know what I mean? None of those rounds were 10-8. Like, it was a dominating fight. He controlled it from top to bottom. But, Vettori was able to, I mean, his leg might be pretty busted up, but you get what I'm saying. Vettori was also not just severely beaten or something. It's not like a Holloway versus Cater situation or something like that. And that's not to, downplay Adesanya's performance. Like I said, it was dominant. I'm just giving Vettori his credit. He was able to stay in there with one of the best middleweights in the world and, stay in there. He was able to go all five with him, So that's a very impressive. Paulo Costa went out in 2. Robert Whitaker went out in 2. A lot of guys get finished by Adesanya. So very impressive stuff from both guys, really. But Adesanya just has a better skill set, clearly. Again, no disrespect. Marvin can improve and get back there potentially. But I do think Whitaker has improved since Adesanya, and him have last fought. And I think that would be a bigger challenge for Adesanya. So let me know what you guys think about all that. And just to touch on some other fights, man, Paul Craig and Jamahal Hill. My goodness. Everybody thought that arm was broken. Apparently, it was just severely dislocated, and it was safely popped back into place and has full range of motion and everything. So that's tremendous news, Obviously, that's amazing. But man, the jiu-jitsu from Paul Craig, amazing. I mean, the guy pulls guard. When do you see that? I mean, even Damian Maia on the next fight didn't pull guard. In my head, I'm thinking, man, Paul Craig just pulled guard. Come on, Damian, just pull guard. But no, Paul Craig pulled guard, and just his jiu-jitsu was just tremendous. Got the nice armbar. Very, very impressive stuff. And Jamahal Hill, tough as hell, didn't tap. If he did, I didn't see it. And the ref didn't see it either because, Paul Craig goes on to break that arm almost in a key lock motion as Jamahal Hill is twisting. The arm breaks in this direction. Oh, it was horrible. And so after that point, Paul Craig can no longer apply the armbar. I mean, the damage has already been done. There's no resistance to pull on now. So he just I believe he got him in a triangle, and was just beating him up in the triangle. So just tremendous jiu-jitsu from Paul Craig. Jamahal Hill had no answer for it, and it was amazing stuff to watch, all from bottom. I mean, obviously, Paul Craig will not get away with that. I mean, I won't say obviously, because who knows? Maybe this guy is a serious wizard, but I would assume he won't get away with that against guys like Glover Teixeira or Jan Blachowicz. You know what I'm saying? Guys who are also seasoned grapplers at the highest level of the game. You know what I mean? Yeah, so we'll see. Maybe he has a lot of different tricks. I won't say obviously he won't be able to pull guard and submit from bottom against guys like that. He definitely can, but it's going to be a lot tougher, you know. But that guy, Paul Craig, he's going to be a very tough challenge for a lot of people in that light heavyweight division, and he's on a 4 or 5 fight win streak now. You know, keep an eye out for him because I think he could beat a lot of guys that aren't on top of their grappling game because, man, he can just pull guard on you, and he probably has a lot of sweeps too if he wants to get on top. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and then Drew Dober and Brad Riddell. I mean, this was a tremendous fight. Drew Dober knocking down Brad Riddell, almost knocking him out in the first round, but Brad Riddell getting back to his feet, recovering, and going on to win the fight, landing lots of nice shots, big right hands. And ultimately, they both just striked it out. They both had moments, but Brad Riddell had more. It was a very impressive fight. That won fight of the night, rightfully so. Leon and Nate could have won it too, I think, but that one won it. It was a great fight. I was watching it. Just very entertained by those two guys. Drew Dober lost, but man, he's still, in my eyes, one of the best lightweights in the world, one of the top 15 lightweights. But, you know, Brad Riddell is also clearly one of the top 15 lightweights. That was a tremendous fight. And, man, just another fight to touch on. Terrence McKinney in the early prelims with a 7-second knockout. Hits him with the 1-2, knocks him out in 7 seconds, and then he jumps on the cage to celebrate. When he jumps down, he lands and he blows his knee out. My goodness. Horrible stuff to see, but, you know, the knockout was tremendous. And, yeah, other than that, I mean, Lauren Murphy and JoJo Calderwood. Lauren Murphy takes that by unanimous decision, or split decision, and potentially gets a title shot against Valentina next. So, yeah, with all that being said, that wraps up kind of most of the storylines of UFC 263. There were some other fights, but, you know, those were the main ones I wanted to touch on. So, yeah, let me know what you thought about all those. Let me know what you thought about Nate Diaz, Leon Edwards, what's next for them, Figueiredo, Moreno, you know, everybody, Adesanya. If you like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more videos like this one, and thank you very much for watching.